Hello, welcome to another edition of Extra Connection Special. I'm James Lott Jr, your host, and while the full-on show in the studio is closed down right now because of unforeseen problems, I am doing these on the Zoom. Why didn't I get stock in Zoom? I don't know. I mean, we're all on here now. We're all, seriously. But we're going to zoom, Zoom. If you're old enough to remember that reference, then, yes, I am old enough to that reference. Yeah, we're all shaking our heads. So I have an actress who I've seen before and stuff, and she's on a show that I love. But she's on two shows right now concurrently that are very different networks. One, she's on FX's Better Things, which if you're not watching that show, it's so good. It's so good. Pamela Adlon is just like a genius. You need to watch the show. And then she's on another show on the Disney Channel. That's right, kids. On the Disney Channel, Coop and Cami Ask the World. So she's doing two different shows on two different things. So she's been around a while. And she sings. I saw you sing. And I think you do some voice work too, don't you? She's well-rounded, folks. She is I'm going to say she is an infinite threat, not triple, quadruple.
I like that. I'm going to steal that.
You can use that. Rebecca Metz. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi.
How are you?
I am well, hanging in.
Well, I have to ask people because we're in this strange situation. So, kind of in seriousness, how are you doing with all this going on right now?
I'm doing fine. I feel like it's hard to feel like you're doing anything good or productive just by staying home, and we have to remind ourselves, I think, that we are, and it's important that we're doing that, even though it feels sometimes like we're doing nothing. I think like most people, I have up days and down days. I have days when I feel good and productive, and and then I have days when I'm depressed and frustrated and fed up, and so I'm just kind of rolling with it, I think, like everybody.
I'm loving your blue chair back there, by the way. I just want to tell you.
Thank you.
I love that blue. It's so wide, and I want to sit in that.
It is. It's a good, wide, comfy nap chair.
All right. So, okay. So I want to start. I'm going to start with. I'm going to get to better things in a second, because I really want to talk about. I have questions.
Okay.
About that. But I want to first start with the Disney. This is a question I've never asked anybody. I've been doing this for 13 years. I've interviewed all kinds of Disney folks. I've never asked this because you're on a show called Coop and Cami Ask the World. You're the widowed mom.
Yep.
And you're the only adult on the show, right? Basically, the cast, right?
Yes.
So I'm like, what I want to ask is, because you have done other shows and other networks, is there a certain way you have to act on Disney shows? Is there a cadence the way you speak? Is there a way you have to act physically? I've never asked that before. I'm just curious about what that's about.
It's interesting because when the audition came up, I haven't done a lot of kids TV. I did a couple episodes of another show on a network we shall not name because it's a competitor, but I haven't done a lot of kids TV at all. And when I got the call for a Disney Channel show, I was like, I'm not who I would cast as a Disney Channel mom. I'm not who I think of. And some of the other women who were there were what I do picture as a Disney Channel mom. They were like blonde and perfect and totally put together. And I was like, well, if that's what they want, that's not what I do. And I sort of made a conscious decision, like, I'm going to do this in a way that feels like me, feels authentic to me, and that I'm not going to hate myself, so that if I get this job, I'm not stuck hating myself for however many years. Yeah. And so I went in doing it kind of like I do things, sarcastic and grounded and annoyed sometimes with children, and true to me. And when I got the job, I was like, okay, I guess that's what we're doing. So it may be that there are ways you are supposed to act when you are doing a Disney show. I don't think I do it that way. Obviously, there's stuff that's in the writing that there's things we don't say. It is a little different in the writing and the doing of it. And once in a while I get the note like, remember, you love your children. And I'm like, right. Right. Got it. Copy that.
Like real life.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But for the most part, it's just a G-rated version of what I would do on any other show, which is nice and not necessarily what I expected.
It's very interesting. That's a great answer. I was curious. So now that you're working on a Disney show, and yes, you've worked on other network before, what are you finding about yourself as an actress when you work on these kind of kid shows? Like, what are you finding because you're like, that's interesting, okay.
That's a great question. I think, again, having not worked with kids that much before, and even I think it's different working with kids. Like Better Things, we have kids on a grown-up show, and there's a difference between working with kids where they have to kind of adjust to being in a world of grown-ups and being the grown-up on a kid show where it's for kids, the stars are kids. I like it more than I thought I would, honestly. I enjoy, like, it's been amazing watching them grow as actors, because when we started, most of them hadn't done a lot, you know, and I was always, we have a joke on set where I'll be like, you know where you learned that? Fancy acting school. Because they would be like, Rebecca, you went to fancy acting school. What did they say about this? And I was always teaching them like little tips and things, and they don't really need it anymore. Like it's been amazing to watch them sort of develop instincts and stuff, you know, early on, not with them so much, but with some of the guest stars, we would be doing stuff like, remember, turn your face towards the camera, which is pretty basic, you know, camera acting stuff. But they've really started developing good instincts and like finding themselves as actors, and that's been really fun to watch.
Well, I'm you know, Disney, of course, and a lot of things. They have a well-oiled machine. I'm sure they pick kids that are like maybe diamonds in the rough, but they saw potential in them. They don't play. At Disney, they don't play.
Yeah, they know, and like those kids are more famous than I am for sure, and so like, you know, we go places with the cast and people are like, hi. And I'm like, okay, you go, I'll stand back here and hold your bag.
I love it. I mean, but they make stars out of them. They do. And a lot of these kids, they can do it all. And they go on. The ones that are good go on to other stuff. So that's it.
Yep.
So it would be interesting to watch them grow. It'd be kind of fun to watch them grow and see what they do as they go. That's kind of cool. On the show though, they don't never address the whole widow thing, do they? On the show, because that's Disney.
We get into it a little bit. We have with each kid, we've had at least one scene where they're like, I miss dad, or they're sad, or they're acting out a little bit, or they're struggling with some aspect of not having dad around. And I think it's really nice that we've gotten to touch on that, because that's a real, you know, one of the things that I feel good about doing this role is that we're a single parent family with a parent who passed away, and that's a real thing kids deal with, and I think they deserve to get to see families like theirs on TV. We don't dwell on it, obviously, but we spend a little time on it and get to, you know, have a little dive into the emotional truth of that.
Aren't you a total redhead on the show?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That I won't show you, but that is.
So do they dye the hair for you on the show and everything, and make sure it's upkeep? And
my own woman, Amanda, who I've been going to for a million years, does it. She knows my color. Yeah. She's offered to like give me some color, like I go to her house and pick it up, and I was like, no, you know, I want to find out what's under there. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Oh my God, I love it. You know,
it's like a science experiment.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
That's so, I love it. You're hilarious. So now we're gonna totally switch gears, because I actually watched Better Things. So I'm so glad the show came back for a third season. I was like, I mean, please, every season I'm like, please come back. I know. Okay, so okay, let's go from the beginning. So, folks, you know who she is. She plays this talent manager, and she's a very close friend on the show. Tressa, you're really funny. But okay, so
thank you.
Going back to the thing of how it came into your orbit. So I'm like, I'm sure you auditioned for it, correct? And when you first
did,
you see the script and go, this is like, hello, I want it.
It was very interesting, because I heard about the project, like, you know, you get your emails from Variety when something gets picked up, and it's one of those, like, when I see something interesting, I'll email my agents and be like, let's keep an eye on this one, please, which I did. And then I got the audition, and it was interesting. For this show, you don't get the script ahead of time, you don't get sides ahead of time. Like, they just say, show up to the audition 15 minutes in advance and you'll see the material.
Okay.
So you can't hire a coach and work on it.
Yeah.
You know, which I don't really do anyway, but some actors do. And I think Pam and Felicia Pisano, the casting director and now our producer on the show, and a really good friend of Pam, they want to see what you can do on the fly, kind of. And so everybody read the same material. I did it, and I've known Felicia for a long time. She cast me in Californication, and she has a really good feel for what Pam is going to like. And I think she was just like, I think Pam might like this lady. So I read it. And I loved it. I mean, right away, I was like, oh my God, I love this.
I'm sure.
they called and they were like, "You're going to be in a show. We don't know who you're going to be yet." I
Oh.
didn't read anything like Tressa.
Oh.
I didn't. It was just you were just reading like friend sides.
Okay.
And I think Pam was still figuring out who the characters were and what the shape was going to be.
Could be back then, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it was a few weeks, and then I booked that first episode where Pam was up for the pilot, and Tressa kind of protects her from losing. And that was the only episode I was booked on.
Oh.
I was booked for one episode.
Okay.
And then another few weeks went by, and then I got a text from Felicia on a Sunday. She was like, "What are you doing tomorrow?" I was like, "Nothing." She was like, "Do you want to be in a scene?" Yeah. And it just like Pam just started kind of writing Tressa into more stuff, which is amazing.
You guys have chemistry. I mean, it's just so funny. Your scenes, you have chemistry. I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe you would be in a situation that your relationship is completely what I would picture in real life.
Yep, it feels very real, and the friendships on that show are really real because we've all become friends. We all have personal relationships now outside the show too, and so I think that that feeling of chemistry and like you're just dropping in on a bunch of people having dinner is really what it feels like on set.
Is there any? I know that for an actor sometimes you come and you have a script, of course, but there's times while you're doing it, you do play around with it a little bit. And some sets are different than others, as you know. You've done a lot of TV.
Yeah.
On this set, is it very open and collaborative? I picture her kind of like, here's a script, but what is it like when you're actually doing scenes?
Yeah, we for sure find things as we're doing it. If somebody's like, "I feel like I would say this a little differently," and she's usually really fine with it, or she'll say, "No, it needs to be this because there's a reason that it's that way." And the nice thing about her being the star and the head writer and the director and the executive producer and everything, she gets
her up. She's amazing. Trust me.
Yeah, we don't have to ask anybody else. You ask Pam, and if she says yes, then that's what you do. There have been times when we've been working on a scene and she'll just be like, "This isn't working. Let's completely change everything around." She'll take someone out of the scene. She'll bring someone in. She'll take a chunk of it, put it later. We'll find that we need to add a moment in the beginning. And so that is very unlike most other shows because there are so many people who have to be involved in making a decision that by the time you have a final script, it's like, this is what we're doing because everyone signed a piece of paper and we can't get them to change anything now. So it has to be like this. Yes. And we really have the flexibility to, if something's not working or if we feel like we need to change something or add something, we can kind of do it on the fly. And I feel like she has hired actors who she trusts to have input and ideas and to have the skills to be able to work like that on the fly. And so it's rare and really fun to be able to have that level of like input and spontaneity on a show.
How would you describe your character to people?
Tressa, first of all, thank you for getting right that she's her manager, because even my dad says that she's her agent all the time. And I'm
she's a talent.
Completely different. She's a talent manager.
You're a talent manager. I know difference.
The percentages are different. Yeah, it matters. In this business, it matters. So Tressa was Sam's manager, and very close friend.
Yeah, very close friend.
Tressa she's super loyal, a big caretaker, like very maternal, but also has that thing of like resenting that she never gets enough appreciation, as the caretakers tend to do.
Yes. I feel that. I feel that. Yes.
Yeah, she cares for people without making a big deal about it, and then when she doesn't get sufficient gratitude for it, she's mad. She's not like a high-powered fancy Hollywood manager. She's a much more kind of like mother hen manager, and I think people in the business really resonate with that because we know those kinds of people. She is a single mom. Also, she has a son named Murray, and we don't know anything about where he came from or how, but he's been there from the beginning. Yep. We found out in season 2 that Tressa's gay.
Yes, I was like, we talked about that at the same time. I was like, oh my goodness, but yes, go ahead.
Which I called my agent and I was like, oh, we just found out Tressa's gay. And my agent was like, I knew that. I was like, no, you didn't. I didn't know that. There's no way. And she was like, oh, it's so obvious.
It was not obvious. I don't think it was obvious, but anyway, go ahead.
I didn't know, but okay. And this season, it's not really a spoiler because it's already aired.
Yeah.
But if you're not caught
You
up
haven't
with the
seen it
season,
quiet. If you haven't seen it, tune off for a second.
potential spoiler alert.
Yes.
We get to see Tressa have a little beginnings of a romantic
I know.
thing,
Like,
which is so exciting. And I just told Pam, like, I never get to have romantic scenes. So
wasn't it funny that you're a romantic scene, but it's same sex fun? Like, it's like, of all the times you've been on TV, now you're getting one at the same sex. It's not a hunky
yeah.
something.
I guess I have some romance on Coop and Cami. It's, kid rated G romance, but I do get to have a boyfriend.
Yeah. This is very cool, though. Okay, so I got two things I'll go back to. So I'll go back to the talent manager thing. Is it based on anybody you've dealt with in the past right now?
No, there's bits and pieces of course. I think from, Pam's and the inspiration and the writing of it, I'm sure there's bits and pieces of real people that she's known, and there's bits and pieces of people that I've known. Honestly, there's probably bits of a member of my family more than anything in there. But I don't want to say it out loud because it's like you'll ruin the magic.
It's just you and I. Just who had no one see this? Just tell me.
It's like a weird superstition. Like it's like telling someone what you use to prepare. Like it'll lose its power if you say it out loud.
Yes. I understand.
Yeah, there's little bits of inspiration from different people, I think, in Tressa. But the writing is so good. It almost all comes from the writing. The characters just like. Here you go.
Yeah, no, seriously, the writing is really good. I mean, it's not like no joke. Now we'll go to the gay thing. So you find out this, she's gonna be gay. Did you feel a responsibility to like the LGBT community to make sure that you didn't do anything too outrageous, or is it you're an actress, you'll do whatever they tell you? Like, what kind of thought did you have about that?
I mean, I didn't really think about it because the writing is so good. I knew they're never going to give me anything that I would be like, ooh, I'm not comfortable,
You knew you were in good hands. You knew you were in good hands. You're like, I'm in good hands.
Yeah. I'm not. Pam knows some gays. Pam's known some gays over the years. Yes. There's a lot of LGBTQ representation in the writer's room, and so like I was very comfortable.
Oh, good. Okay.
That it was going to be handled. And, Diedrich's character, Rich, is gay and is like the best gay gunkle. Like,
yes.
I was super, super happy and comfortable with it.
That makes sense, actually. I didn't know there was that representation in the writer's room. That's good to know.
Oh, yeah.
Are there female writers in the writer's room, too?
Are there other what?
Female writers in the writer's room?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been different. There's been a writer's room for seasons 3 and 4, and the makeup has been a little different both seasons. But yeah, there's women in there for sure. That's
very cool. I love that. Are you a person who gets that? You're that girl in that thing. Do you ever get that? Do you ever get that kind of thing? I've seen you. I can't remember what it's for, or I remember you're an actor, aren't you? You're an actress, right?
Yeah, it's changed. So around Better Things, Coop and Cami, and even Shameless a little bit. What used to happen is people would just stare at me, and you would just, feel someone staring at you, and you would be like, "Hello," and they would be like, "I know you," and then you'd go through the whole like, "Do we have friends to come?" And eventually you'd be like, "Well, I'm on TV sometimes," and I was always nervous about saying it because then they would be like, "No, we have the same dentist," and you'd be like, "Oh, well, now I feel like a jerk," but. It's nice now that I'm on shows regularly enough and established shows that people now go, you're on Better Things, you're on Shameless, you're on Coop and Cami, so that it takes me off the hook a little bit. But the Coop and Cami thing, actually, one really nice thing about being on that show that I did not anticipate, I didn't know what it was like to be kid famous. Like, I didn't know if they would just start screaming, or I don't know how kids behave, really. I don't have kids. And what happens is they get kind of scared. Like I'll be somewhere and I'll just clock a kid who's gone kind of like white in the face.
Like they see the person they see on TV in front of them possibly, and it's kind of like just maybe jarring. Maybe
they can't compute why would you be here, and a lot of the time their parents is like, that's not her. Why would she be here? Don't talk. Don't bother that lady. And so I get to sort of be like, hello, it's me, you're right. And like their face just lights up, and that part is really fun, and a lot more fun than I anticipated. You just get to sort of turn to them and be like, you know who I am. Yeah, but it's nice that I don't have to tell people so much now. People usually often figure it out for themselves.
Well, no, that's what's so funny. So when you came across my desk, which is literally my email, I'd say that's like fancy, across my desk, I was like, oh, I know her, because I recognize her from better things. I was like, I know that, and I was like, yes, I want to sit down and talk to her. I want to sit down and talk to her, because I think it's interesting. The person who's not the lead in these big productions, you get to work and move around and work with all kinds of people.
Yep.
I mean, how do you stay? What keeps you motivated in this business? It's a tough business. So what keeps you motivated?
I mean, this is just always what I wanted to do. I've always known this is what I wanted to do. And I always knew I was going to be a character actor. You know, it's not like I had ever had illusions that I was going to be a romantic lead or something. I know what I'm working with. So I genuinely feel so lucky that I get to do what I love, what I've always wanted to do every day, because like you said, this business is hard. Most people, 99.9% of people, are never going to get paid to do it. And, it took a long time for me to be able to pay my bills doing this. I worked full-time day jobs for a long, long time while I was building up my credits. And you never know if you're ever to get past that point. A lot of my friends are, still guest actors who do supplemental jobs. And so I wake up every single day feeling so lucky and grateful that I get to be in the position I'm in, and aware that it could go at any time. I mean, here we are, I don't know how long this is going to last or what the business is going to look like when we come back.
That's very smart. So, I'm glad you said that, because I want people to know. People think, well, you're all stars, you're all making tons of money, it must be easy. It's like, so they're shocked when they see somebody has a job at a law firm during daytime. It's like, no, it's really tough stuff. And this business sometimes is set up for you not to make it. It's just it's all kind of, we both know, you're a woman, a man of color, there's all kind of obstacles that go on, just for us especially. But then, I love this business. I've been doing it 13 years, and I can't see myself doing anything else. So I'm going to keep doing it and trying to find a way to support myself to do it. And I feel like you're the same way. You're just like, I want to do this. I love doing it. So you are very fortunate to be on series that are on networks.
Yeah.
Like you said, people don't even get there sometimes. They don't even get there. There's a million actors and actresses.
And I lucked into working in television when television started to have its renaissance. I moved out here right when The Sopranos started, and I think I knew I didn't want to go to New York, and I was from there, and I could tell what I was going to do on stage there, and that's not what I wanted to do. And LA is much warmer than Pittsburgh, where I went to college, and so that was it.
Pittsburgh. I was going to ask. I'll talk about that in a second too, but anyway, go ahead. Yes.
But so and then TV has turned into sure, I wanted to be a movie star, but that is not what happened, and we don't get control over that. And so I happened to be. It's another thing to feel so lucky about. I get to work in TV at this moment that TV is having this unbelievable explosion of incredible content. All the best writers, directors, actors, everybody are coming to work in TV, and I get to be a part of it. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. A million outlets. the microwave shows now. Everybody got shows on different platforms. So there's work to be had, but still, there are 1,000 actresses that probably look like you, not working like you are.
Yep.
We feel for them. We feel for them, because we know it's just not easy. You mentioned you come from the East Coast. We love my East Coast peeps. And I'm glad you brought up, New York is very different than LA. It's very different. It's very theater driven, of course. But see, you can do stuff. So you didn't want to do any kind of musical, stage work or anything like that?
I have done it. I come from theater. That's what I grew up doing and what I trained to do, and I love doing it. When I graduated, it was the start of revival musicals and movie adaptation musicals. And I was just I don't want to. I just don't. I have friends who do them, and they love it, and it makes them so happy. And I'm like, good for you. I would die. I would lose my mind.
Musical. I don't want to do SpongeBob the musical.
I can't. And it's not a comment on the quality of those shows or those actors. It's just a different. And I've had people I went to college with who were like, "Oh, you're doing television." And I'm like, "Okay, you can look down on me if you want to." I guess.
Okay.
I would love to go back and do some theater,
Okay.
and I've done lots of theater in LA.
Yeah.
But it's just not at the time. I was just really excited to do something different.
Makes sense.
And move someplace different.
Yeah, and you went to Carnegie Mellon, my hometown.
I did.
Pittsburgh. I miss me a Primanti Bros Sandwich. I was trying to explain to people what that is. They don't even understand.
There's a truck out here called Steel City.
Wait. Let me write that down.
You got to look it up. The Steel City food truck that does Primanti style sandwiches, and they have tasty cakes, and they have it's legit, and they know what you're talking about when you talk about Primanti Brothers. My husband has had a Primanti style sandwich because I was like, oh.
You gotta have it. When I have somebody come visit me, I go, I know where I'm taking you. It may seem a little weird what they put inside the sandwich, but it totally, trust me, it works. There's
also a place called Polka, a Polish restaurant that does pierogies, which was our like midnight drunk food because.
Oh yes.
You know.
So good.
So I can get my pierogies out
there too. And that cheese, and somebody had my cheese inside. I just, oh my God, I love making me hungry. I remember that time
I know, now I want pierogies.
I know, like the real ones. Now, I was trying to tell somebody the other day, your gravy out here, sausage and gravy, is not the same sausage and gravy. It's not the good stuff.
No.
The white gravy with the artery clogging ingredients in it, with the sausage. I mean, like that's real. I mean, to me, this little cutesy little brown stuff, that's not it. You guys have no idea.
Nope.
Go to a Bob Evans, please. Let me tell you all about breakfast. Like they have no idea out here. They have no idea. You know, I love it.
Yeah.
But you went to a really good school. Carnegie Mellon's a really great school. I went to school of drama. So you had a good time there?
I had a great time there. I actually went there. This is how like crazy focused I was on being an actor. In 8th grade, I went to the library over and over and over again. And I did a big research project on the best acting schools. And I came home and I told my parents, I want to go to Carnegie Mellon. And they took me to campus in 8th grade. And I met with Don Marinelli, who was, I don't remember what his title was then. And I was like, I'm coming here, so you may as well let me in. And I think he was just like, who is this child? And I think my parents were just so excited that I was excited about college. They were like, yeah, great, fine.
Sure, like whatever.
And then that's where I ended up. I ended up getting in, and I just couldn't say no. I had a feeling that was where I belonged.
Wow, that's good. Do you think education is important in acting? Like, I know some folks, they swear by it, by getting education really does help, and some folks say, nah, it's fine. So what do you think about that?
I do. Easy for me to say, the thing that I did is the thing that everyone should do. But, you know, when you're under pressure, under time pressure, and you have to deliver, and you've just gotten a rewrite, or you have to deliver emotion, or you have to, things are getting difficult and challenging, and everyone around you is nervous that you're not going to be able to pull off what it is they need you to pull off in the time that they need you to do it. You go to your training. Like, that is where that comes from. That's where, the technique, you're in a scene where you have to be crying, and you've been doing it for 6 hours, and you just can't generate the emotion. You have to have 4, 5, 6 different techniques in your bag that you can pull from. Like, okay, I can't get it this way anymore. I need to do it this way. I can't connect with this way. I need to do it this way. This writing is terrible. I need to find a way to make it funny. This is,
right.
There is a long, centuries old tradition of the craft of acting where you can learn how to do things like that. And for me anyway, I think having gone through that very intense training process makes me. Holly Hunter came and talked to us at Carnegie Mellon. She's a Carnegie person too, and she came to talk to us once. And somebody asked her what her training did for her, and she said, "I feel entitled to be in any room that I walk into, because I did this work. I feel like I can walk into any project, any theater, any audition, and I deserve to be there." And I think there are probably people who feel entitled without having done the work.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not like that. I now that I've done it, I get what she means. Like, it makes me feel more confident to know that I have that like background, that suitcase full of training behind me, so that anything anybody asks me to do, I'm going to be able to do.
Okay, I like that. I actually like that. It makes sense. It makes sense, complete sense to me. It just gives you a leg up a little bit on just like what you can use in the business.
Yeah, like everybody has things that they're good at. Everybody has strong suits. The thing is, in order to be able to get past that and do the things that you're not naturally good at, you're going to need some help.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Love it. You are a delight, Rebecca. I can talk to you
Well,
forever.
thank you. So are you.
I laugh. So, you're hilarious. I love it. Folks, she's on 2 series, FX's Better Things, and on Disney Channel's Coop and Cami Ask the World. Tell folks where they can find you on social media.
You can find me at the Rebecca Metz on Twitter and Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. I don't understand it.
I'm a TikTok star now, apparently. I don't know why.
Are you really?
I don't know why. I've been on.
I'm always too late too. Like now, I'm gonna join TikTok and nobody's gonna care. I'm
That
too
was
late to be a
me
TikTok
too.
star.
That was me normally too, but I got on right at a good time, and I have like 11,000 followers. I'm like, people are following.
Good for you.
I know. And I'm an old man on there. I don't know what's going on.
I'll just come be in your TikTok videos. That's my strategy. I'm just gonna be in other people's videos.
That's what I'll hold you. One day I'll hold you to. We're gonna do a funny one.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna get together in person. We're gonna do a funny one.
Okay.
So I'm James Lott Jr. You can follow me where all James Lott Jr.'s are sold at James Lott Jr. and all social media platforms. Extra Connections is on the YouTube channel, J&J Media. It's on every streaming service. You can watch this interview and laugh with us. Every streaming service is out there, from Spotify to iHeartRadio to everything. Please go ahead and like, subscribe, and be so kind and share it. We need to see this. Any Disney fans, Better Things fans, share it with everybody. But folks, everyone, please, I know it's a tough time right now. Please stay safe and sane. Try to laugh if you can, and we'll see you next time.